My wife and I recently visited Poverty Point in northeastern Louisiana, which is best known for its Poverty Point culture. That name is a bit of a misnomer because the civilization is named after a plantation that was located there during the mid 1800s. Unfortunately, no one knows the true name of the ancient people who lived there, or even much in the way of the details of their civilization. What we do know is that it was a prehistoric settlement. It might have started around 1700 BC and probably lasted around 600 years. Various sections of it were constructed during that time frame and ultimately included six C-shaped ridges, a large plaza, and several mounds. Best known of these is Mound A, which is the largest. It contains 8.5 million cubic feet of dirt and is the second largest mound in North America. Currently stands at around 72 feet tall, with the widest portion being 720 feet. Astonishingly, a study has indicated that it was most likely constructed in about 90 days using dirt hauled in baskets from nearby pits. Given the size of the settlement, most think that it was likely part of a larger civilization in the area, perhaps a capital or at least an important city. In modern times, the location has been designated a World Heritage Site and a national monument, and currently covers around 400 acres, with the original settlement being somewhere around 3 miles in size. Some think the civilization itself may have included an area around 100 miles. I suggest visiting the site. The museum is good, and you have the option of a guided tour, or you can do the self guided tour in your own vehicle. There isn't much left of the ridges, but you can get a general idea and see where the plaza was. Likewise, the mounds have eroded a good bit over the course of well over 3,500 years. Do some research before you go, and it will help you understand the history of the Poverty Point culture. I'll get to the reason I made the video. First, Poverty Point is part of an ancient history of the Americas that was almost completely lost. Most people aren't even aware of a civilization that flourished about the same time as the Minoans or the Mycenaeans. However, sadly, we know very little about these people. The ravages of time and fate had already mostly wiped out evidence of them even 2,000 years ago. Many other cultures rose and fell over and over in the intervening years between now and then. Poverty Point is a large part of a puzzle that is missing most of its pieces. A second reason for making this will be a little more controversial. Archaeology has done a good job in trying to glean what they can know. However, it has also a lot of baggage attached to it when trying to do that job. One of those bits of baggage is a dogmatic adherence to certain so called facts. One of those alleged facts is that Indians of the time were only hunter gatherers and didn't do agriculture in any significant scale. They largely base that assumption on what they regard as a lack of evidence of agriculture. I would add that I think they have a blind spot regarding the fact these people were more advanced than they're given credit for by many. The theory causes them to abandon common sense and the example of other civilizations. I don't believe that the civilization without agriculture could build these structures of this size and live in settlements of this size. They simply would not have been able to survive and feed themselves in numbers large enough to do this. Imagine the number of workers that would have been required to move 8.5 million cubic feet in just 90 days. Some think it may have been as little as 30 days. Add to that the fact that you would not only have the workers, but you'd have all the people supporting them, as well as their families of both the workers and the support people. Combine that with the reality that they had art, some knowledge of astronomy and mathematics, used trade routes that extended at least to Ohio and beyond, and you'll conclude they had a very organized society that was also an advanced ancient civilization. One could not have existed without agriculture in this situation. Lack of evidence doesn't mean they didn't have it. Lack of evidence could simply mean that we failed to find it. I would submit that the history of more advanced civilizations in Americas is much longer and more sophisticated than is generally recognized. It wouldn't surprise me if some weren't even 10,000 years or more older. That is at least my theory. I hope you've enjoyed my summation of Poverty Point. Thank you for listening.